Jon, clearly a long journey for you to get back to this moment, and we could see the emotion immediately after in the cage, but you've had a little chance to let it soak in. I'm sure spend some time with your family. What are the emotions like right now?
Man, it's surreal. It's surreal to be back here in front of you all. Just more grateful than ever. You know, at one point in my career, just took it all for granted, and just, you know, I was just dreaded doing some things like this. And now, after not having it and realizing how easily it could be all gone, not having this, I'm more grateful for every ounce of this process.
Incredibly quick start to the fight tonight. Were you anticipating it to be, you know, that much of a barn burner right off the bat?
Yeah, you know, I think, you know, I heard Daniel say things like he wanted to show me right away that you know, the 2 years will affect me and that I'm not meant to be here and things like that. So we knew that we knew there wasn't going to be a filling out process. We knew there wasn't going to be time for ring rest. We knew we were going to have to get straight to business, and that's what happened.
You said you were going to get the finish. I mean, did you envision that type of knockout, you know, a high kick, you know, finishing it the way you did? Did you see that as a possibility?
Yeah, we expected to finish Daniel Cormier. I said it in several interviews before the fight. There was a day in practice where we found 5 other guys who gives me the hardest time. And my coaches made me match up against all of them. They had 1 round each in 5 rounds. And I finished 3 out of the 5, which is something I have never been able to do before. I had 2 TKOs and a submission. And my coaches told me after that practice, they said, "Jon, you are stepping into your prime, my friend." And they said it's time for you to expect to finish fights, expect more out of yourself, both in your personal life and at work. And that's what I've been doing. I've been expecting more out of myself, holding myself to a higher standard, and I feel like it showed tonight.
Very classy address towards Daniel afterwards. I wonder, was that spontaneous, or was it something that's been weighing heavy on you that you wanted to get out there? I mean, obviously, pre-fight build-up isn't exactly the time to do that, but right. Was that something that just came to you all of a sudden, or had you wanted to get that out there?
Well, I've always felt that way about Daniel, but it was spontaneous. I've always felt like he's a pretty classy guy, guy to be respected, stand-up champion, model champion. But unfortunately, you know, I came into this game at a young age with big ideas, and despite how good of a person he is, there's no mercy in combat, and I have to do what I have to do. All right, it's either me or him, and so. You know, what happened happened, but he should be respected, and I don't think he should ever be questioned whether he was a true champion or not in my absence. He fought 2 of the toughest guys in the division. He won those fights, and he carries himself like a champion, so I think that should be recognized.
Last thing for me, Jon, the call out of Brock Lesnar, I think, was a little bit unexpected. Talk about the genesis of that, where that was coming from, and why you were motivated to do that.
You know, to be honest with you, I have no clue where this Brock Lesnar situation came from, how it started. But it got serious really quick, and I started talking to my management team, first-round management, and my team at Jackson's MMA. And I said, well, what do you guys think if this was to happen? And obviously my manager's like, well, it's going to be a big payday, right? That's his job, right? Make me money. But my team at Jackson's MMA, Jackson Wink, they said, Jon, you can win that fight. You know, you're going to have to dig deep. You're going to have to take your self-belief to a higher level. You're going to have to earn this fight. Obviously, you're going to have to change a lot, you know, fighting at 225 or 230. But say, you can do this. And so we made up in our mind that we were serious about it. And I think it'd be great for the MMA world, right? It would definitely bring more general public to the sport of mixed martial arts. And that's what we need. We need to expand our sport. And so why not be the guy to play a part in that?
Jon, back here, what does it say about you? And you were pretty confident going in that you would perform like that tonight, but Dana was even blown away. Everybody here, to see you do that after the amount of time you've been off, all the things that you've been through. I mean, you were overwhelmed at the end, but what does it say about your overall greatness in your career that you can come back in and do what I don't think anybody could come back in and do tonight.
Thanks. Yeah, man. You know, we made a shirt that said "Unbroken," and I've made that my kind of life motto or slogan, whatever. It's just to be unbroken and to believe in believe in your dreams, despite how you get sidetracked in life. Just to remember why we started this and remember how great we all can be. And yeah, man, it just shows that, man, that can't be broken, can't bend me, can't break me. And I feel that way right now. I feel stronger than ever. And I hope that this story motivates somebody else to get on their feet and kick some ass in life.
That being said, as good as you were tonight, how much better can you be now that you, quote unquote, have your life together and outside of the cage is seeming to be aligned with inside of the cage and you hitting your prime all at the same time? How much better can you be even than you are now?
As far as saying I have my life together, life is a day-by-day thing, you gotta just try to make good decisions, one situation, one day at a time. So, my life is still a work in progress. But I feel like I can be much better. Tonight, defensively, I felt like that I wasn't the sharpest. I got caught with some really, really big punches, some big hooks. Thank God for blessing me with a good chin. Yeah, I feel like the best is yet to come. At age 30, I feel like I'm in my physical and mental prime. And just believing that will allow me to train at a higher level and just expect more out of myself. So I feel like my best years are still ahead of me. And I think it should be very scary to a lot of these light heavyweights that I'm still the youngest guy in the division and want to be here for a long time.
Hey, Jon, right here.
I think Kevin started first.
Okay,
I was quick.
Respect your elders.
always.
Congratulations, Jon.
Thanks.
Can you compare this, put this in context with your win over Shogun Rua? When you set the record, you become the youngest champion, and that was such a dominant performance, and it's kind of like now, in a way, you come full circle. How do those two compare to you?
They're definitely very similar. In a way, it feels like this fight feels like my first championship ever, almost, because I feel like I have a new beginning. I went through such a dark period, and it's depression and all these things, and now the light is here at the end of the tunnel, and I feel like I'm leaving my past behind me. And I'm just, I'm erasing everything that I've done before. I feel like this is the start to a new career, a new championship, and I feel like I want to be a better champion than I was in the past. So I feel like a new champion. This is my time to start all over, and to just be a better champion and be the champion that the fans deserve. So that's how it compares.
How much?
I'm not sure if that made sense, but it made sense to me.
How was your mom in your mind tonight? This is your first fight since you lost your mom. Was that?
My mom has been in my mind for sure, for sure. Yeah. Glad that she got to watch the fight tonight, front row. She had the best seat in the house, and yeah, I know she'd be extremely proud right now. So yeah, I'm happy.
And I just wanted to follow up on one other thing. Do you plan to, if Brock does take the fight, and he said, "Be careful what you wish for, young man." So I told Greg Beecham that. But if he does take the fight, would you think of campaigning as a heavyweight? And if he doesn't come back because of his suspension and everything else he has, a fight with you and Stipe would certainly, he's not that massive heavyweight that a Brock is. Would that be something people have talked to you about, fighting heavyweight a long time? Would you consider campaigning there?
I feel like if I was to take a fight at heavyweight, it would be against a person who I felt, me and my coaching staff felt like it was just a perfect matchup for me. Right now, Stipe is looking extremely impressive. And I believe when you get an extremely talented big guy versus an extremely talented little guy, I mean, a lot of the cards are in his favor. At the same time, I fear no man, but I strike for a reason when I strike. And I feel like Stipe is relatively unknown to the general public. So it wouldn't even be a real super fight, in my opinion. I think the MMA fans would be really excited about it, but the general public wouldn't care about that fight. most people don't really know who he is, with all due respect to him. So if I'm going to sacrifice being the smaller guy, I think stylistically, Brock would be a fight that makes way more sense, and the payday would be tremendous, and what it would do for our sport would be tremendous. It would have a much greater impact. So for many reasons, a Brock Lesnar fight just makes more sense to me.
From a timing standpoint, I'm here. From a timing standpoint, he may not be able to fight for a while, and you may have to have a fight before that, possibly. And I mean, what do you think of, say, Gustafsson or Ozdemir? And did you see the Ozdemir fight by any chance?
I did watch Ozdemir fight tonight. I thought he did a great job. You know, I'm not going to really make comments on anyone else. I don't want any headlines tomorrow to be about any other fighter. This is my moment, and when the time comes to get talked to about a possible opponent, then we'll let the headlines come out. But as of right now, I'll let them be about the great thing that happened tonight.
Obviously, with you calling out Brock, that's a new challenge, and you know it's a bigger challenge. When you look longer term at your career, with what you've accomplished, do you think you can be satisfied staying light heavyweight and just taking on the next #1 contender who comes?
Yeah, I feel like you know, people always say to me, well, you know, you're too long, or you're too big, and it's cheating that you are light heavyweight. But I can't control the way God built me. And one thing that I can't control is my weight management, and I do a very good job at that. I literally had ice cream this week, pancakes this week. I did things to keep my weight up. Tonight I fought at 215, which is light. So I feel like I have a lot more years at light heavyweight, and like I said, the only times that I will move to heavyweight is for a fight that really gets fans excited, or eventually challenging for that title against the perfect stylistic matchup for me.
You know, over the last 2 years, the sport has changed, and we've sort of seen, you know, things that we didn't know were possible just in terms of the promotion. Has it been you sitting on the sideline and watching those challenges and watching those new developments and realizing that new things are possible?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, like a guy like Conor McGregor, you know, he has been a tremendous inspiration to me. You know, he has shown me, who has been in the upper echelon of this sport for many years now, he's shown me that these huge paydays are possible. I never thought in my time as a champion, as a fighter, that I would see fighters making, you know, $70 million or $100 million or whatever he's making in this Mayweather fight. It's been an inspiration that you can do it. It's like the first guy to go to the moon, right? And now everybody wants to go to the moon. It's like the first guy who ran a 5-minute mile. And now everyone see that it's possible, and that's what McGregor's done for me. So yeah, I mean, facing a guy like Brock Lesnar, getting the world excited about a MMA fight, and ultimately making some of those M's. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? So yeah, it's been great to be on the sidelines and just watch all the different ways of being a champion. And you know, I find inspiration in all these guys. You know, Demetrius has been such an inspiration, and I mean, everyone. My sister Holly Holmes, she's been a great inspiration, just showing how you should never give up, right? Always fight for it, you know, despite what's happened. I drop power and motivation from so many people, and I'm grateful for all the different sources.
Jon, it says you landed 95 significant strikes tonight, and it was pretty much all evenly divided between the head, the body, and the legs. Was that the game plan, to kind of work him from, you know, head to toe?
Yeah, that was the game plan, to attack the body. You know, Daniel said lots of times before that, you know, the body shots play dividends, and I knew that the age difference also would be a factor. So yeah, I just wanted to try to destroy his body and keep him guessing mainly, and you know, ultimately win the long race.
And you said on the conference call Monday that you think with everything that's happened, the fans have maybe forgot how great you are, that you're one of the biggest draws in the sport, all those kind of things. Dana White was out here earlier. He said this event's tracking to do more than 1 million buys. For you, do you think this
fight?
Yeah.
More than 1 million buys?
Yeah.
Oh my God. This is great. So, what a way to come home.
So to you, do you think you exposed yourself to the greater audience, that everyone is going to realize, you know, that you're back?
Yeah, yeah. I felt like this was one of those fights that the world had to see. It was the biggest fight of the year, and I even heard rumors that Donald Trump was going to show up. Did any of you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, to be a part of that, it's inspirational. It lets me know that my story is one that the world could look at and get something from. It lets me know that that all the faith and all the hard work and consistency and pushing through, it's something that intrigues the world. I mean, there's never been a champion like me, a young champion. Well, there has been, actually. I would say my career is kind of comparable to Mike Tyson, a guy who had it all, a guy who made a lot of mistakes. And I think I'm like a modern situation, and I think people are interested to see how I'm going to handle it. And I think that's what's most intriguing, is to see how someone can come back from so much bullshit, right? So I'm glad to be out there. I'm glad to be out there. I'm glad to let my life be a testimony for others.
How is this second title reign going to be different than the first one? What's gonna change for this one going forward?
Well, my effort. I think I'll make a conscious effort to just do better. I'm also a lot more aware of who I am and the responsibility that comes with being a champion, a UFC champion. And so I don't want to sit up here and make promises and say that I'm going to be a saint, because I'm a wild motherfucker at the end of the day. But I can try to do things better. I can make a conscious effort to try to make better decisions, and I think that's enough. I think me expecting more out of myself will ultimately lead me into just being a better champion. I want to go and see my family and hang out, so I'm going to take off. Oh, look, you got a big old smile, so I'm going to give you your last question.
Yeah, first of all, congratulations, champ. You look like you
sir.
haven't spent a day out of the ring, out of the octagon.
Thanks.
And not only do you look like that, you look like you improved. Why, stylistically, do you think a fight with Brock Lesnar would be super exciting as a super fight to the fans?
Well, I just think it's a winnable matchup. Obviously, Brock Lesnar has millions of followers outside of MMA, so that's huge for our sport to kind of steal some of those followers. And I feel like Brock, you know, he has a pretty limited game, and I just think it's a winnable fight, and there's just so much reward that's involved, and I just want to do it.
And one more question. The one fight stylistically that the fans have been wanting to see for a while, and I know you said you didn't want to fight, what is a guy like Anderson Silva? Would you ever consider making that a super fight in the future?
No, I have no interest in fighting Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva has been my inspiration for so many years. He is aging, and he is still magnificent, but I would never want to defeat Anderson, and I would never want to be defeated by Anderson. I would love to just have that open vibe that we have, where we can call each other, we can be there for each other, we can support each other for years to come. There's something awesome when you go from being idolizing someone to that person being your friend, and that's what I have in a guy like Anderson. So I want to keep it.